everyone, it's Kat and I want to talk about Australian sunscreens. So I have a bit of a collection going on at the moment. I stocked up in sales, so I am full to the brim with sunscreens, and I wanted to give you just a little bit of a review on some of the sunscreens I have opened, which ones I like, what textures I like, what I think about them, what I think about the brands overall. Now these brands that I'll be talking about today are going to be Australian sunscreen brands, so if you are planning on coming to Australia, want to know what brands we have, these are some of the Australian sunscreen brands. We obviously have a lot more, and we also have international brands that are sold here. I will talk about a couple of other brands at the end that I quite like. I just don't currently have them, and I'll also talk about a cheaper option as well, because these brands aren't the cheapest SPF brands, but they are very, very effective. Now in Australia, we have the strictest SPF requirements in the world, and that is because we are close to the hole in the ozone layer, which means our UV is stronger and we burn a lot more, and we have higher rates of skin cancer. We have the highest rates of skin cancer in the world. So the reason why we have such strict regulations is because sunscreen is not seen as being just a consumer good, but it is seen as being as important as like medication. So it is actually regulated with the TGA, and it's a therapeutic good, not a consumer good. So it's taken very seriously, and they do strictly make sure that it meets the requirements that it says on the label. So if it says SPF 30, if it says SPF 50 plus, it needs to make sure that it exceeds that to be listed as that, and it goes through strict regulations. So in Australia, a sunscreen can't go on the shelf unless it actually meets and surpasses the SPF level that it claims on the packet. And also because our UV is stronger, it is actually harder to meet those requirements, because you need a stronger sunscreen to hit the SPF of 50 plus, for example. So in another country where the UV is lower, it's easier to meet those requirements. In Australia, with a strong sun, you actually need a really strong sunscreen to do that. And historically, the sunscreens that did that were really greasy and thick and gross and very zinc and heavy. These days, there are a lot of sunscreens that are a lot better, a lot more comfortable, easier to wear during the day, don't break you out, and I really love. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So the 4 brands that I currently have with me, I'm going to talk about this one, which is my all-time favorite. This is the MECCA COSMETICA to Save Face. Now they do have, this is the face version, they do have a body version, they also have a serum version. I really like the serum version for the face, I just didn't love the packaging so much. But this is a really beautiful, thicker sunscreen. It's not the thickest one by any means, but it does sort of give this really beautiful, lush, sort of moisturizing feel. It's almost like a hydrating base. So I think it's really lovely. Not only can you get a nice thick layer because there's a little bit more substance to it, but it doesn't feel greasy on the skin. It just leaves your skin feeling quite hydrated. So that's beautiful. There's no white cast. It's really, really gorgeous. So that is my favorite. This is like my 4th tube. And again, you can get a body version as well if you wanted to. If you have drier skin and you want something a little bit thicker, I quite like, this is one of my newest ones. This is the Naked Sundays Collagen Glow 100% Mineral Sunscreen SPF 50 plus. This MECCA one is also SPF 50 plus. This one is thicker. So again, it's like it doesn't run at all. It's quite thick. It has a little bit of color to it, but it does sort of just blend out. If you've got very dark skin, it might be a little bit too light for you, so you'd want to only put this under makeup, for example. It does sit nicely under makeup. This is a lot thicker. It's not greasy by any means, but it does feel very balmy. So this is one, like if you've got very dry skin, I'd recommend that. If you've got sort of more dehydrated winter skin, you might want to try that. I feel like it does blend in nicely, but it is, you know, there's more substance on the face for sure. Now, if you want something thinner, I would go for the Ultraviolet. This is the Fave fluid. This is again SPF 50 plus. So in Australia, that's going to be over, I think, SPF 60, I heard. This is beautiful. It's very, very thin. It's very runny. You can see it just is like a liquid. So if you prefer a thinner layer of SPF, go for this. It's just very runny. Again, it sort of blends in. It's almost like a milk. It's very wet. Now, the thing with this one, if you want to get a good amount of coverage on there, so to get the SPF 50 plus claim, you need to actually have quite a lot on. I would recommend probably putting 2 thin layers of this on, but this is definitely something for someone who has more greasy skin, doesn't like the feeling of something heavy on their skin. use something like this. Now, Ultraviolet also have a bunch of different types of SPF, so I'll have them on the screen. There's hydrating ones, there's more of a matte finish sort of cream one. They also have more of a serum type one in a dropper bottle. It is similar consistency to this one, but it's a little bit, leaves a little bit more greasiness on the skin. So if you've got drier skin, you might like that. But I think this is a really nice one if you just want a really sort of light layer that sort of dries down and doesn't leave that balmy texture on your skin. I mentioned that sort of serum dropper one from Ultraviolet, and also there's one from MECCA Cosmetica. They have that sort of dropper serum version. Alpha H also has one as well. This is the Dawn to Dusk SPF 50+ serum. So it's a high protection sunscreen, obviously, and it's got niacinamide. So this one is one of those dropper versions. Now this one is still very sort of liquidy, probably not as liquidy as that Ultraviolet one I just showed you. So there's a little bit more substance to it. So it's that, so it doesn't just run down like a liquid, but this one is more of a glowy one. And this is a good example of the one that you can get from Ultraviolet or also MECCA Cosmetica, where it's very thin, but it does leave a glow and a sheen to your face. So if you are drier, but you want something lighter, that's something for you. Otherwise, if you like a bit of a hydrating base, you want to put your makeup over this, that one's a nice one as well. And it's got skincare benefits. And these sort of serum ones often do. Now, all of those work really nicely under makeup. I haven't found that they disrupt my makeup at all. They do have different levels of hydration that they offer, so it's totally up to you what you want. But if you want to reapply during the day, that's where we run into a bit of a problem. And I've recently discovered this, which I love, 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 love. It's by Naked Sundays, and it's the Hydrating Glow Mist Top-Up Spray. So again, this is SPF 50+, and it is fantastic. Now, Ultraviolet does have a top-up spray as well, but I have heard it's a little bit greasier, so it depends on what you want. This one, I feel like it's almost undetectable. I'm wearing makeup today. If I shake this up, you hold it around 20 centimeters away from your face. It's a very, very fine mist, and you spray it around, like you sort of spray around your face, and they say at least 7 times. So let's do it. So it's very easy. Try not to breathe it in, but it is perfect. That's topped up my SPF. It doesn't feel like there's anything gross on my skin. This spray is like game changer. I've got this in a mini version. I've got it in the big version. It's so handy to bring with you. So if you are out and about and you want a really easy top up over your makeup, they have some really excellent top-up sprays. So I love this. When it comes to the body, now one that I really like is the Ultraviolet. This is the Extreme Screen Hydrating Body and Hand Sunscreen. So again, it's SPF 50+, and this one is water resistant up to 4 hours. So it is good if you're going to the beach or something. It's quite hydrating. It's a little bit thicker than a face sunscreen, but it's good for the hands and the body. I really like this. And then if I want to top up the body in an easy way, the Naked Sundays also has the Glow Body Mist Top-Up Spray SPF 50. Now, this isn't as finely sort of misted as their face one. This one you do need to spray on, and it leaves a bit of a wet surface, and then you rub it in. But the good thing about this is it does dry really quickly. It's really easy, and there's no sort of like greasy residue. So if you were to use your full body sunscreen, it would obviously be a lot thicker. This is a really good sort of top up one for when you're topping up throughout the day. A couple of other brands that I want to mention. So an Australian brand that I really like is Sunsense. This is one that you can buy at the chemist. It's a lot cheaper. You can often buy it on sale. I've tried all the face ones. I like them all. They all work really well. So if you are on a bit of a budget, I do recommend those. If you want something that is sold in Australia and approved for Australian use, but is from an international brand, I really love La Roche-Posay sunscreens. They do have some tinted ones that I don't really like, so I'll stay away from the tinted ones, but the other ones are beautiful. And I also really like the Neutrogena body sunscreens. They have a really good body mist as well, and a really good body sunscreen. So I buy those and just keep it in my car. Again, they're a little bit cheaper than these ones, but those are really effective. And then if you've got kids, I really like the Banana Boat roll-on one for kids. You can use this on babies over 6 months. So I keep these in sort of my change bags and whatnot, and I just roll them on my kids and just rub it in, and it generally sinks in nicely. I've tried some other baby or kid sunscreens that are really thick and are really uncomfortable and they really fight against, but this one's really nice. So those are some more affordable ones that you can find more in like Chemist Warehouse, for example, or the supermarket, that I find to be really, really good. Now, just quickly to wrap this up, my all-time favorite combination is the MECCA Cosmetica to Save Face. I feel like this is the Goldilocks sunscreen. It's not too thick, it's not too thin, it's not too greasy, it's not too dry. I just think it's perfect for all year round. And then I top it up with this Naked Sundays Hydrating Glow Mist SPF 50. I feel like it's the most sort of undetectable top-up mist, and it is the easiest way to refresh your SPF during the day. So those are my 2 picks, but the rest of the ones I mentioned, I highly recommend. They're all really fantastic. So that is my video about SPFs I recommend in Australia. I'll have all the products listed in the description box, and I'll also list a few places that you can buy them if you aren't sure where to get them. So big thank you to my members for supporting my channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.